Boom! Welcome back. So, you've been hearing about this Magic the Gathering. And if you want to know if you want to join this hobby, well, here's 3 reasons for you to consider joining. Let's get it.
Damn. Yeah.
Before I start, there's only 2 disclaimers. Number 1, this is not a how to play tutorial. If you want to know how to play, consider looking at this video. And number 2, I did make in-depth videos of 2 of the reasons, reason 1 and reason number 2 right here. So if you want to learn more, consider looking at these videos. Alright, let's dive right into it. Reason number 1, it makes you smarter. I know. All games, theoretically, that are logic-based makes you smarter. Magic the Gathering is a trading card game. It's a card game at its core, and it rewards you, the player, for making incremental correct decisions at any given point in time. So it is a game designed to make you decide what to do at every turn. If you have decision fatigue, or maybe having a lot of issues making a decision, this might be the game for you. Because it is a card game, what you know is the cards that your opponent shows you and the cards that you put in your deck as well. You're forced to think about what sequences of your cards you would draw or how you would play your cards in order to win. On the technical side, that forces your brain to think about the probability and impute the risk-reward of each probability. So say, for example, if the likeliness of the thing happening is very low, but the upside is super high, game winning, then that could be a consideration for you to take. Depending on your risk appetite of your personality, that determines your play. Simply put, your brain is being tricked to think about all of these mathematical things in a sort of intuitive fashion. Personally, this helped me in my day-to-day life because my brain just kicks into that gear thinking of what do I get out of it if I make this specific action and what I stand to lose and which one do I prefer. That technically makes you smarter because it exercises that logical reasoning within your brain. All right, aspect number 2. It's a trading card game. For the word trading, it actually opens you up to the concept of market, the law of supply and demand. Admittedly, the game is quite pricey to come into. Any hobby out there would entail some financial investment, but more so for MTG or Magic the Gathering. Now, fret not, there are tips and tricks for you to accumulate that card, and I'll be doing the tutorial sometime in the future. Stay tuned for it. That being said though, I do have a lot of friends that went into this hobby as a player but stayed because they fell in love with the trading aspect of this game. You can actually trade cards with monetary values for actual cash and vice versa. It opens you up to a arbitrage mentality, thinking of how much supply you would get on a specific location. If you move it to a different location, that means that cards, you actually accumulate value because you transported one goods to the other, and that's your income. That's another side of the game that a lot of people had fell in love with and keeps on supporting the hobby. So if that interests you, in short, this game can actually yield you money in some aspects on the upside, but at the very least, it makes you aware of what a market is. Now, if you're a youngin, some of my nieces out there just starting out, and if you're a parent that has a child, consider picking up the game. It will make them understand the value of a specific object, and it will make them go through the journey of want, desire, acquisition, and safekeeping. So, a win-win. And last but not least, reason number 3 why I love this game. And it's the community. Now, disclaimer, for any community out there, there will always be a small niche that is not so great for the community. Any hobby out there will have that niche. But bearing aside the statistics anomaly, like around say, the usual curve for margin of error is 10%. But I would say that this percentile would be lower for MTG. And because the game has a sort of barrier to entry, because it has a financial aspect to the game, most of the players, if not, are young professionals that has one goal in mind, and that is to be better at the game. If you're playing the game, your objective is to win, and you do that by making the right decisions at the right given point in time and acquiring the resources or the cards themselves to be that vehicle for your decision. In these two aspects, it attracts a specific type of players, and that is what I would term, in my personal opinion, the cerebral or the more logical type of players out there. Sure, there's an aspect to the game that is fun, but it tickles for me a specific itch of fun, and that is to outplay a different player through mind games or through strategic plays, and it attracts a specific type of personality of those types of players. In my personal journey, I started at around 1995-ish or 1990s. And when I was in my mid-school or high school, I had been introduced to the game, and I was very happy, or like I felt that I'm at home playing MTG with young professionals. Some of them are engineers, doctors, surgeons, lawyers, and bankers, one of which was actually my mentor. Shout out to you, Kevin. He's one of the dudes that inspired me to pursue my degree in accounting and went into banking. That being said, the upside of that, being exposed to that community at a young age, I could actually see the lifestyle of each player. For example, for a surgeon or doctor, I remember particularly wherein I'm playing in a tournament and the person got called because there is an emergency and he had to leave. That was super cool because that means that he is good at what he does. And at the same time, to me, I don't think that would be my career path because I would like to have my own personal time when I'm doing my personal stuff. Well, that's just my preference. My other side of friends are like lawyers and attorneys, and they always go abide by the rules and like to understand the rule books and so on and so forth. You get what I mean. You get exposed to these types of different people, and at the end of the day, it gives you an idea of what they're doing. At the same time, since they're all professionals, they have this sort of professionalism when they're playing the game, and it also develops your personality in that spectrum. As they say, birds of the same feather flock together. So since I'm on that same feather, I guess I'm flocking with them. But seriously, I would attribute most of my positive behaviors with the game. Number one, making my decision good, if not superb. Number two, making sure that I'm making the correct financial decisions. And number three, making sure that I surround myself with the correct people or people that I want to foster as my own brethren and community. That's it in a nutshell. If this is something that interests you, consider picking up the game and like and subscribe. As always, stay safe, y'all. Pow!